fantastic time with this film. And I could tell reading through the press notes, obviously for Julia, this was a real passion project. So what did it mean for all of you to help her bring her vision to life? And how beneficial was it to have a fellow actor behind the camera guiding you through this story?
Yeah, when I first read the book in 2016, it hit me in such an impactful way. And I felt so committed to bringing this film to life and felt so committed to seeing it transcend onto the big screen. And so the fact that we're here now, I am so grateful for every person that was involved in bringing this dream of mine to life. And having Julia Stiles be the person to have told the story, it's a gift, really is.
I was so honored that she thought of me for Charlotte. I've never actually done a movie in this genre, in this space, and we had worked together on Orphan, and I had seen her working on the script and reading it, and she sent me the script and was like, "I would really love to have you lead this movie and for the world to see you in the way that I've gotten to know you, not just the way that, people see you currently." And I feel like that's such a I mean, only an actor who becomes a director will understand what that feels like and what that means. Because so often I feel like you get pegged into a genre or a specific type of character that you play. And I was just really grateful that she thought of me. And I had such a blast working on this movie with her and with Mena and Gabby and Jimmy and everybody involved.
Yeah, I hadn't met Julia before we started talking about this film, so I was just honored that she thought of me for it. And I always love working with people who've been in the industry for as long as she has because you can learn so much just by being on set with them. And she's, the queen of this genre, so getting to go through this process with her as a director. I had done romantic films before. It's kind of my bread and butter. It's been that way, but to learn from her to do this, I was like, there's nobody better to learn from. So yeah, I was honored, and she's an incredible director.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And Mina and Isabel, what did you enjoy most about the challenge of exploring that instant connection and chemistry that Charlotte and Adam have on that first night that they meet? Because that's such a interesting way, I think, to introduce their relationship in the film.
I loved the challenge of
Yeah.
it. It's challenging depending on who your co-star is. But Isabel made it really easy, man. Like I think we knew pretty quickly we were gonna, I don't want to say have a good time because there was a lot of crying and a lot of deep moments, but there's nobody else I would have rather gone through that journey with than her. She's amazing inside and out as an actor and a person, and it's a heavy movie, so you want that kind of person because it's heavy. I wrapped the film just distraught for a couple of weeks after too. So yeah, she's fantastic.
I felt very similarly. Like when Mina and I met, I felt like we did have like a connection when we first met, and then we didn't see each other until we were on set, and we really got to know each other as we were making the movie. And so we would go from having these like intense moments that were, scripted, but you're really just looking at each other and talking. And then we would sit and we would talk about things in life, our lives, where we were, business, all sorts of stuff. And we just really bonded. And then we got to play as these characters. And Julia said when we wrapped, but also had mentioned to me at the beginning, she's like, I think, and she's, the queen of this genre. She was like, the only thing I feel like you need to have like great chemistry with someone, because I was nervous that we had not met before we started filming, really. It was before we were trying to nail down a date. And she was like, you just need to have like mutual respect and a lot of trust. And from the moment I met Mena, like, not only was I a fan of his, but I instantly respected who you are as a person and your soul and what I got to know of you in that short time. But then I felt very like it was very easy to trust you. And then the rest of it really was just being present with each other. And it was really easy. I felt very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And then at the same time, Gabby and Isabel, I love the friendship between Charlotte and Helen. You got that great dynamic as well with Kelsey Grammer's characters, this overbearing father, and Jennifer's Grey's quite fun mum. So, what did you both enjoy about working together and getting involved with those two as well?
Oh
Oh,
my God.
so
So
good.
cool. So fun. Kelsey's incredible. Jennifer's incredible. But really, Isabel and I fell in love during this project. It became, very, very early on visibly that we were going to be lifelong friends, and you know, we've cherished it ever since.
We kind of had an Adam Charlotte connection. We met at a pool party years ago and had a conversation where Gabby told me about this book called Wish You Were Here that she optioned, and we exchanged numbers, but like so often in Los Angeles, we never followed up and never like got together again. And Julia offered me the role, and my phone rang like 2 days later, and I'm like, Gabby Kono, how do I have this number? Like, I'm playing Helen, and I'm the producer, and we met at this pool party, and it was just instant from then on. Like we had a cosmic connection, and it just took some time for us to find each other again.
Oh, amen.
Oh, fantastic. And Mina, as you said, this movie does get pretty heavy, particularly what Adam goes through. It's really deeply sad. And for you as an actor coming onto this, was that quite harrowing to approach those later scenes in the film? Even as you get to explore this lovely relationship with Isabel, it's just so difficult for your character and what he's going through.
Yeah, yeah. It was the first time in my career where I really felt like I couldn't not take my work home. Usually I'm pretty good about that, but it was kind of impossible in this film. And I think that's credit to Julia, but also credit to Isabel, because it felt real when we were shooting it, so that when I went home, it was kind of hard not to. And also, like shaving your head and going home and looking at yourself in the mirror. There were a couple times in the mirror where I was looking at myself and it kind of brought stuff out in me because you're playing this guy who's terminally ill, and it's hard to get out of that. And at the same time, selfishly as an actor, you don't want to. You kind of want to dive deeper into it because it's going to help your work. So it was an interesting experience, something that I hadn't felt before. So, I did the research. I talked with a neurosurgeon that I grew up with. A family friend. He ended up becoming a neurosurgeon. So I had a few conversations with him about the process and what kind of experience these people go through. And then it was just about honing in on, the people in front of you. And I also had a unique experience in this film because I have one moment with Gabby as an actor, but then really it's just all Isabel. She gets to play with everybody else, but I'm really just focused in on her. So it made it easier to focus.
Hmm.
Oh,
Thanks.
By the way, I mean, being on set and seeing Mina in this, physical state, it affected everyone, cast, crew, strangers. I mean, it was just so moving and watching your commitment to Adam unfold over the course of the film.
yeah, well, amazing performances all around. And Gabby, as you said, being a producer on this film and being part of the movie behind the scenes, obviously Helen, you get to take her on a really wild ride as she gets swept off her feet. But what drew you to that character in particular? And how great was it to be involved in front of the camera too?
Yeah, it was so fun. I fell in love with truly when I first read the book all those years ago. I fell in love with every single character. Renee Carlino's book really dives deep into Adam and Charlotte and Seth and Roddy and Helen. And there was something about Helen's magneticism that I was like a magnet to her. And I felt like how great would it be to play the levity around these two intense love, this intense love. So I was drawn to it quite easily, and Julia's adaptation of it was perfect. And she has so many layers, and being able to have explored all of the different layers of Helen, it was incredibly rewarding.
Oh, well, amazing. Well, Mina, Isabel, Gabby, I'm a big fan of all of your work before this film, but I absolutely loved what you did in this one, and I loved the film. So thank you so much all for taking the time today. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank you,
Josh.
Josh. Have a good one.
You too. Congrats on the film. Thank you so much.
Thank you.